One. All right, guys, this is episode 5. After repair value, it's your host, Alan J. Upshur. Uh, I always say at the beginning of every episode, maybe it's just a way to me kind of breaking the whole nervousness on myself. Good. All right, cool. Maybe it's like my way of like kind of breaking the ice. I always just say like, look, I'm new at this, so give me some grace. Um, but I got a really good friend of mine, good brother. He family. We've been through some crazy times together. And not only do I have him, I have my cousin also on the side. Got my guy Kirk here today. Grateful for him to come. Came all the way from Delaware. Got my cousin, Mont. He gonna be on the side. I told him, like he could, just be on the side. Any comments or anything on the side, like, it'd be good to get his feedback. That's my A1. I remember, was it Blizzard '96? We go way back. That's my dog. Uh, I got him here today, so I'm grateful for that. I got audience to the side. Uh, but in today's episode, it's not really titled anything in particular, but it's really more so like an episode of brotherhood, an episode of somebody that you had in your corner when you were at your lowest, darkest moments. I met Kirk when it was a very embarrassing time for my life. I just caught attempted murder. I finally got myself back in college for a second time, and I felt like I just blew it all. I was living two different lives. I was that college student who was volunteering in the school system, but at the same time, I wanted to sell drugs on the side. And both of those lives, when you have stepping, it just kind of came like full circle. So on this episode, why it's so important today for me, and I'll let him introduce himself too. I brought him on because I met him at a crazy time. Like I just caught my attempted murder, and when he came in, he was incarcerated as well. When he had caught attempted murder, I had heard about him when I was inside. Um, and it was like a respectful, like, oh, okay, that's him. I don't know who he is, but damn, I keep hearing his name, like he's somebody. And when I finally met him, it was just like it was just all love, and I had to bring him here today because that was back in 2011. We here in 2025 now, so to see what he has done over the years and the things that he has taught me, I'm just grateful. So I had to bring him on this episode. So Kurt, thank you for coming. And we're gonna get right into it. So at the repair value, for those who haven't seen the other episodes, my podcast is geared to the renovation of the mind. So we play on the mindset of in real estate where you're trying to find that fixer upper property. You obtain that fixer upper property, you renovate it, you get it to its finished product, and then you sell it. So in this case, instead of it being the ARV of a property, we're doing it from the mindset. We want to know, when we talked to Kirk today, like what was the mindset when he was in that dilapidated state, that mindset where the fixer upper of him, where he was going through his struggles, going through his problems. So that'll be step one of what we talk about today. And then step two, we're going to talk about the renovation period. What sacrifices did Kirk make? What was his mentorship process like? What education process? What retraining of the mind that he had to go through to put himself in that renovation period? And then third, we'll talk about the finished product. Even though we know that the finished product is an ongoing product, but where he's at now today, he has so many gems that he can help somebody that he has gone through or I have gone through to be able to help the community out in a better place. So I really can't put into words the best way to introduce this guy. From investor to even at times I'm older than Kirk. He's been a mentor to me in a lot of different avenues, especially with finance. But yeah, nonetheless, we got Kirk here. So I know that was a lot. And I don't really got the best way of how to put an intro together, but I just had to, say I'm grateful for you to come today. So here you are. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, like he said, my name Kirk. Private banker on Instagram. I do a number of things: investing, real estate, finance, business, regeneration, um, anything dealing with money. Just like I got my hands on it for real. Alan, we've been friends for a long time. Like you said, we met
Long time.
basically like in 2011, 2 attempted murder charges. Like I was younger than him. He was basically explaining to me like this can't be my whole life.
I know,
Consistently,
right?
like, so, bro, you gotta chill. Like, I was a hothead. You know what I mean? Bro, you gotta chill. He was a hothead, so it was like, I would listen to somebody that had respect just as much as me, or even more. So I didn't mind taking his advice, and I took that advice. He made a vow, like, yo, when we get out, bro, we gotta go see a different side, different type of money, different type of motion. Yeah, and that's what we did for real. So that's the story with me and Alan. And to this day, we still friends. You can see.
So what I'll say is, we're going to get right into it. Like, I just like to get right into things. So part 1, we talk about the fixer-upper part of you. So what was your dark moments? What does that look like? Give the audience, when you was, before you are where you at now, like, what were some of your biggest issues, your biggest problems while you was going through incarceration? You did about, 9 years?
Yeah, 9 years.
So that whole journey of being in there for 9 years, how dark that was, like, that fixer-upper part of you, like, what did you go through and what have you had to experience while you was in there?
When I went to prison, I was like 18, so I couldn't read and write when I went to prison. That's number 1. Couldn't read and write. Never finished school, always getting put out of school, was in alternative school. So, like, me going to prison at a young age, you gotta think, I went to the new jail. New jail was treacherous. They had gangs, they had even faggot gangs there. Like,
You talking about Hagerstown?
yeah, they had
Oh,
faggot gangs.
I didn't know you started there.
Yeah,
After you left EC.
Yep, I started off at it. After I went left from there,
Damn.
they took me to the new jail. So my first day in the jail, this is my first day in the jail. First day. I'm in the child hall, so I see a lot of commotion going on. What the fuck is going on? I don't know what's going on. So I go happen to look. I see a Mexican laying on the ground. And then I see 2 Mexicans on the side of him. They had 4 Mexicans all together. 2 holding it, 1 holding 2 of his legs, 1 holding both his arms. They spread them out like this. And then I seen 2 come from the side and they just start chopping him up in the middle of his body. This is my first day in the jail. They killed him.
Damn.
The police come through. They just let them stab him. The police come through. The Mexicans lay on the ground, put the cuffs on, and just walk him off. So I'm like, damn, fuck, I'm getting myself into. Like,
Yeah, I remember my first day in jail on my second bit, the dude next to me committed suicide. So, like, yeah, that was my first day. So it was like, I don't know what it is about first days in prison, but that first day in prison, it gets your mind right.
Get your mind right. Yeah,
Yeah.
get your mind right. After that, I went down Jessup, MCIJ. That was like being in the projects. Everybody had cell phones,
Jessup.
green dot, fucking COs. So it was like I wasn't learning no lesson then. So I wound up getting put out of that jail. They wound up sending me to Roxbury.
Okay. Back in Hagerstown.
Back to Hagerstown.
Now from Hagerstown to Jessup?
Yeah. So now I'm in Roxbury. Now it's time to really like pay attention because everybody in there is like, it's different now. Like, you talking about like wars every day, like, you know what I mean? COs beating you up, racist COs calling you niggas, spitting in your food, like you talking about a different type of environment. That's when I became educated when they're talking about like black knowledge, education stuff. I started educating myself then because I knew I didn't want this to be my life.
So when you got there, that's when that was the start for you when you really started taking education serious. When you got there, so the prisons before that, you was kind of like going through the motions, but when you got to, you said Roxbury? Prison
like that. When I was in MCI, I remember calling my cousin. He like, yo, what's going on? I was like, man, this joint like being uptown, bro. I'm chilling. I was having fun at MCIJ with 30 years. So just imagine that 18 having fun with 30 years, running around the jail, getting green dot, smoking K2 with 30 years. Like, I'm not even amazing. I got 30 years. Like, I'm not, it don't me paying no mind.
It don't hit you.
It don't hit you.
Because it's like you going through life. So it's like you don't really, damn. So, all right, let's start over. So you had, what was your sentence that the judge actually gave you?
30 years, also suspended with 20. That's in one county. That was in one county. First county. I had 3 counties I was facing charges in. The second county, I went to prison. I went to court with the 20 years. The second judge gave me an extra 5 years. That gave me 25. Then when I went to court in Snow Hill, I got another 3 years. Put me at 20.
That was consecutive.
Years. They did it consecutive.
So they did 20, consecutive 5, then consecutive 3. So you had 28 years.
28 years. Yep. So then I went to DOC with 28 years, bro. 18 years old.
Damn.
Attempted murder charge in one county, gun charge in another county, and a crack charge in another county for real, and resisting arrest. They labeled me a menace to society. But that wasn't even my first time getting locked up. I already was on the run for another shooting that I had.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, that was another shooting that I had got. They had gave me time served, but they gave me 10 years suspended but 5, so I had backup time. So yeah, that's how that.
So
went.
you did the majority of your time in Roxbury. What was the MCIJ? Roxbury. Roxbury. So you was out
in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how that went.
Yeah, because I was a little further out. I was out Cumberland. I did my
I know how Cumberland is.
Yeah. So Cumberland is like you got Hagerstown, drive another hour and a half out in the mountains to be out Cumberland. So
Cumberland is like the Superman of jails. Like
yeah, especially in Maryland. It's like it's like the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like,
crazy scenario to use.
You make
but
it
it's
Cumberland, you was a real criminal. Like
yeah, because everybody around you like they didn't did it. They didn't been there. Like
only thing over top of Cumberland is North Branch.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. And then after that, after North Branch is just straight federal.
Straight federal. Yeah.
After that, you really can't get higher. But damn, all right, it's crazy to know because like I hear it when you talked about it before with me, but it's like, dang, I didn't know you had to go through all of that.
Good.
So all right, so your experience when you was in Roxbury, after that first day, that crazy first day, like what was like the day in the life for you in there in regards to like when you had to understand like, boom, I gotta educate myself. Like, what was some of those hurdles that you had to go through? You know, because I didn't even know that you had trouble reading and writing when you first went in. That's something new for me.
Yeah. Like I had trouble reading and writing. Like sometimes I still got trouble spelling some words now. But so when I was in Roxbury, I went there. First thing I did, I went to every school of thought, which could be considered religion.
Yeah.
NOI, moral science, Muslim, Christianity. I studied it. I never took nothing. I just studied all of them for real. I read a lot of books. You know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, books on finance, Wealth of Nations, cybernetics, genetics, biology. I started reading all type of stuff for real. Opened my mind to different schools of thought. Then I realized from studying all of these things that the key factor behind everything was finance. Finance, money is what keep everything together. So then I started reading different books. Economic Hitman. I started reading about the Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith. I started studying the money and where it came from. Henry Ford, the different companies, all the things, people that financed the wars. I started studying that, and I started realizing it started all coming back to the same thing: finance. That's what ran the world. So that's why I started studying money.
Dang.
That's how that came about, bro.
And it's crazy, like just hearing you talk about the education part of finance, like I didn't really advertise it yet, but when people finally see this episode, like how I switched my major, you know, my big thing was I wanted to get my bachelor's in law because that was like my redemption period. Like I went to prison because I didn't understand law. I was ignorant to the law. I did things that put me in a position for the law to be able to take the best out of me. And then I ended up now when May 17th hit, I'll be a graduate. I'll be a Bachelor of Science graduate from college. So I went to college. I'm a 3-time college dropout. But when I went back to college now, I already got my associate's degree in law. Now I'm about to get my bachelor's in law. So this is my time to be like, that's like my FU, you know. That's like my, like, yeah, I went to prison, I went to jail, and the law got the best of me, but now I'm getting the best of law. Mm-hmm. So me getting that bachelor's degree in law is like my way of showing everybody that ever been in jail or prison or incarcerated, like, you can still win at this. Like, it don't got to be the end all be all. So when I hear you talk about you finding education while you was in there, that's what it was for me. I had a mentor. He was he taught me a lot. Brother Big, and he used to say to me, like, stop looking at prison like it's prison. I'm like, how else can I look at it? People getting their ass beat, people getting beat up, you know what I'm saying? I don't like being here. Like, it's just a very depressing place. Like, when you are putting yourself in the mindset of trying to have goals and you're in prison, you're surrounded by people who already gave up. So I'm like, how can I look at prison like it's a positive place? He said,
like it's a college.
That's what he told me. He said, man, you got to look at prison like it's a college. That was his exact words. And when he did that, that's when I started reading books all the time. Like you mentioned.
See, you look at prison like it's a college, but also prison is an investment too for the state. Because like when you think about finance and you talking about money, finance, you talking about business, you talking about law, you talking about real estate, whatever you talking about, the words are interchangeable when it comes to finance. You talking about promissory notes, you talking about contracts. So when you talking about commitment papers, when you sign commitment papers, you DLC, you talking about them raising money. They get $40,000 a year per inmate. So if you get 30 years times 40,000, you do the math.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? What's that? 1.2 million. So I was walking around in prison at 18 worth 1.2 million. Didn't know it because we talking about they getting that money in advance from my state. Because I signed a commitment paper with contracts, a promissory note, same way like we doing real estate, and you sign a mortgage note for 30 years. Yeah. Whoever they getting paid. They getting paid. They getting paid out. Whoever own the house getting paid out. So when I sign commitment papers, they getting paid 1.2 million for me in my state, my parole, probation, my medical, my health. You know what I mean? My teeth, whatever their food, whatever they say is for. That's why people get crazy numbers when they get locked up because the state raised money. See, 50 years, you know what I mean? That's $2 million. Look at it like that. Don't look at it as like he got 50 years. Don't look at it like the state just raised $2 million. So that's why they giving out these crazy numbers, bro.
Right. And they can justify it because of the sentencing guidelines and the matrix systems.
Exactly.
And when you do this charge,
that's the law.
That's their fourth time that they did this. Same charge 4 times.
Right.
They can just literally go off the guidance of the matrix system and be like, okay, you got 3 felonies based off the matrix system, the sentencing guidelines. Because what happens is you'll get the charge first. Then after you get the charge, they'll make you come back 60 days later, 90 days later. It could be longer, depending on what state you in. And then they'll be like, okay, boom. Based off this guidance system, the judge still has his free way. He could be like, I'm going to go based off the guidance system. I could be lenient based off of the family support, the letters that come in, the lawyer, the money that he invested into the court system. And he could even rock your dome, which most of the times they do, especially if you're black, unfortunately. Or he could kind of be a lenient, but either way, it's all money. So it's just like
see. Think about it like this for real. Think about it like this. Break it down to you in the dollar aspect. It's like this: when you born in an impoverished area, like Somerset County, where I was born at, poorest county in Maryland, what's the odds of me paying 1.2 million in taxes to the state? That's you know how much I gotta make.
It's not good.
It's not never gonna happen. The odds of me paying 100,000 or even 50,000 was not gonna happen. But the odds of me getting incarcerated and the state getting 1.2 million for me at 18 is higher. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So the state will make money off these tax-paying citizens, but they not making no money off me because I ain't paying no taxes. I'm running around, I'm selling drugs, I'm doing this and that. I'm not paying no taxes. But if they can incarcerate me and give me a lengthy sentence, they'll raise money off me. I'm worth more in prison than I am on the street. So these young people outside that's running around doing this and that, they worth more in prison than on the street because they not paying no taxes. They don't got no jobs.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So they looking at it in that aspect. That's why I keep telling you, it all come back around the economics, bro.
So they'll put more money behind like maybe liquor stores or things that might entice them to go to jail or go to prison. Because
they put more money behind these things that entice them. Look at the communities. Liquor store here, hair store here. This is designed that way, bro. And it's designed that way because they don't want us on certain sides of town. That's why we got our little stores over here. We still over here. We become accustomed to these neighborhoods that we don't even own, bro. We don't even own this land that we fighting and dying or we arguing on this land.
Houses, we rent most of them. Like
exactly, we rent houses, so we not building no wealth. And then nobody don't respect you if you ain't got no money, bro. That's just the bottom line for real. So when they say it's a trap, it's literally a trap that was designed. We talking about hundreds of years ago. For us to fail. So when we coming out thinking we know what's going on, we accustomed to the area we living in. It's a big world out here, bro. They made us accustomed to our area. We don't want to leave our area. You got some people that live in Baltimore that never been to Philly.
Never been to DC.
Never been to DC. And then I ain't going to DC. Fuck DC. Why? You know what I'm saying?
Right, because of the mindset, the media, everything that you said. Like we already racially divided. I mean, we already thinking our mindset like this our block.
Because they gave us a sense of entitlement, bro.
In certain areas.
Yeah. They let us have a sense of entitlement of things that we don't even own. So long as we believe that we own it in our mind, we never want to own it on paper. Because this our block, this our hood. We got guns, we out here, we stand on the corner, we shooting anybody come out here, this our hood, this our block. But we don't own nothing on paper. But we got a sense of entitlement in our head. So they designed it like that way.
We got no LLCs.
No LLCs, no nothing, bro. But they designed it that way, and we feel comfortable long as we can touch somebody, you'll get the fuck off this block. But when the police come, what happened? Everybody can get off why? Because it's trespassing. You know, everybody got to move. You know what I'm saying? What if you own that shit though? You can tell the police to move. Because when you own a piece of land, you own a piece of America, bro. That's the difference. So the difference is this for real. When you got the Bloods, the Crips, all these gangs having their meetings at community parks and places like that, telling people to move. But you got the Ku Klux Klan having meetings at what? Land that they own, bro. They own that land in the woods that they having them fire pits on and they burning them pictures of Obama, whoever else. They own that land though, bro. That's what you missing. That's what you failing to realize. They having meetings at community parks with kids and stuff out there. And the police come on there and now you think you know everybody going to jail. That's the difference. You don't own nothing. So how you going to have power if you don't own nothing, bro? Ownership brings power. You know that. Because you done sold over 500 houses.
Yep.
So, you know what I mean? You know that.
Dang. And we were just talking earlier about the supreme mathematics. Like, we might as well break it down. You know, like I was just telling my cousin, we was talking about supreme mathematics. Like, we can just start we can go from 0 to 9. Like, we can start with 0, cipher. We can go with 1, knowledge, understanding knowledge. Number 2 is wisdom. Number 3 is understanding. Right. Number 4 is culture.
Culture freedom is important though, bro.
Let's talk about
culture freedom. Let's talk about when I was in prison, right? Ain't nobody do nothing for me, bro. When I came home, nobody did nothing for me. Nobody ain't give me nothing. So then you got my homeboy Allen right here. You get what I'm saying? This man gave me over $50,000 in 2019 invested in my idea that I didn't have nothing to show for the idea. I came to this man with an idea, gave me 50 bands. You know what happened? It fell. The idea fell. I fucked the whole 50 bands up because I didn't know the industry. But he believed in me, but I tried though. You know what I'm saying? He know I tried. And we really lost more than 50 when you accumulate everything that came in, the time, sweat equity, everything that came in. But who gonna do that? And we still stand here today, and we still got investments now, and we still make money now, and we still do things now for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we just made I just made them like 10,000 this week.
Yeah, this week. I'm grateful.
So it's like we still be doing stuff to this day. He never gave up on me, but I'm just saying, what type of individual is gonna give somebody else $50,000 who just got out of prison? Yeah. Now, mind you, I wasn't talking to him like that when I was in prison. So we ain't talking years. Yeah. We had a phone conversation. We was talking, bro. What you trying to do, bro? You got to stay out of trouble. Blah, 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 blah. I'm doing real estate now, bro. Blah, blah, blah. I'm in Atlanta.
But you was telling me though. You was like, look, I'm in here studying money. Like,
yeah, I was telling him what I was doing. I was studying money. I was telling him what I was doing. Yeah. And then he was like, yo. I mean, he checked up on me a couple times. He did check up on me too. But he was like, he's like, what you want to do, bro? I said, man, I'm trying to do this box trucks. I'm trying to get on the road. I'm trying to do this and that. All right, let's do it. $50,000, bro. Fucked it up.
I gotta take a shot to that.
Yeah, take a shot to that. I remember. You remember that time, bro?
That was a tough time.
That was a tough time.
But you know, that's the power of brotherhood.
Yeah, that's the power of brotherhood.
Because the thing about having a brother is like you can't just have a brother during times where it's good. You know, like it ain't really true brotherhood. You got to be able to embrace them down times. You know, negative times. That's love. You know, love is. You know, everybody talk about the good parts of love. You know, the gifts, the happiness, what about the times when shit real, shit hard, shit tough? You know, like
and that was in 2019.
That's just as important.
Too. But even since then, we still done did deals and invested and make money.
Oh yeah, we didn't.
And even after that,
even at 50, when you really look at the 50, we have made more money. We're on the green than we are on the negative.
We definitely on the green.
Even through all of that, you get what I'm saying? So I think that's important.
We on the green. Cause we probably be at like 30 this month. For real.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you know, I think that's important.
30 for 30.
I always appreciate that, you know, to hear that. So that's part one. That was a lot for part one. So part two, you know, we want to talk about when you got past that dark place, that fixer upper part of you, the incarceration part of you. What sacrifices did you have to make? What are some books even that, you know, you may have had? You mentioned, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But it's kind of like that part of you when you were figuring it out. This is like the renovation part of you.
There's just 3 books that I feel like everybody should read on your journey to success or, you know, saving your family, building wealth. The first one I say would be The Secret. And The Secret is a book about the universe, the law of attraction. It talks about how you are what you think you are. So I think about money all day, constantly, 24/7. Ways to make money. Anybody tell you that. And I just attract money. But if you think about these things, like even examples, like if you rapping about death, rapping about jail, whatever you putting out in the universe, it's gonna come back to you. That's the first thing you need to know when you talking about building anything. You need to know, you need to be taught how to think. So that book gonna teach you how to think. The second book will be Wealth of Nations. Adam Smith was written in 1776 for real, and that book basically is about the whole United States economy, capitalism, contracts, promissory notes, and money. It's gonna teach you the history of the money. So first you need to know how to think with the book, The Secret. Then you talk about Wealth of Nations, what's gonna teach you the history of the money. So now you know the history of the money. Then you talk about Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's the third book. I'm giving you 3 Jews. The third book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, gonna put it into perspective for you. So now when you get the money, you know where to invest it at. You know how to do it. You know where it come from, and now you know how to invest your money and how to save your money and how to make your money make more money.
Especially generational wealth, because it talks about that.
Exactly.
The difference between the rich dad and the poor dad. How does the poor dad think, and how does that affects his offspring compared to how a rich dad and what he's putting in that teaching, that blueprint for his child and their future. So I love it. I was grateful to have when I hear that book, with Robert Kiyosaki. Shout out to Robert Kiyosaki. He taught me a lot. I'm finally now in a position where I'm listening to more to what my dad has taught me by reading that book. My dad,
and it's crazy because my dad really wasn't in my life like that for real. So like a lot of stuff I learned on my own, or different people in my life, like bro that was older than me that taught me certain things for real. Like when he told me that he told me about the real estate, like bro, I'm about to buy a house or whatever. Bro spent $90,000 on a house cash.
Yep.
I wasn't trying to hear that shit then. I ain't trying to hear that. I'm going to Saks Fifth, I'm going to Designer Store, I'm going to Miami. You know what I mean? I'm doing all type of stuff for real. And bro called me like, bro, that house worth $270,000 now. Damn, $270,000. I just spent all this money. I can't sell none of this stuff. These ain't no assets. They not on my balance sheet. Like, I've been doing something wrong, bro. So now I need you to teach me the real estate. Teach me the real estate. Teach me the mortgage lending. Then we talking about getting an apartment complex. We talking about buying land. Then he shift my mind in a different way of thinking. So even though I was making money and I was doing certain things on a certain level, I still wasn't doing it to my full capacity until I got that advice from bro. But he always been in my ear. But it's like once you see somebody do it, it's easier to believe.
You can relate to it.
You can relate to it.
And especially if you got more people in your life that's not doing that, that's not showing you that, it's kind of hard to kind of like put that in your mindset because we're used to a certain way of living. Yeah. So if you don't got people in your life that's like, hey, boom, you can take this money and put here and put there, because it's not an exciting thing to do, to be able to put money here and be able to sit back, wait 3 years, 5 years to get appreciation on your money. It's not exciting. It's not as exciting as being able to, do something fast with your money, or buy this luxury item over here, or travel the world or do this. It's not an exciting thing. It's just, but that's the science of money. You buy, you sit back, you wait, you appreciate, you get yours, and you get out. So it's kind of hard to explain it to somebody, especially us who already was used to like a fast way of making money. Right. You know what I'm saying? To be able to make money on the long term. My dad always said to me all the time, he said, man, that money long term. So, the way we live in an instant gratification stage. So it's like, if I got $10,000 right now, I'm trying to turn this 10 to 20 right now. Or I'm trying to use this $10,000 to do X, Y, Z right now. But when we kind of discipline our minds and condition our minds to be like, I got this 10,000, I'll put this 10,000 right here. I won't see it for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. But when I see it again, it's going to be 27,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. So it's just kind of putting in your mindset, having that condition to be like, you know what? I'm putting this money over here and I won't see it for a while. So we just got to be able to make that cool. We make it cool to be able to get fast money and get nice cars and get nice things. We got to find a way to be able to take money and be able to be like, look, because you put money over here in this life insurance policy, and we may not see this money again for 10 years. But when we see that same 10,000 we put in, we can borrow 100,000. Right. This same 20,000, we may not see it 5 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm 36 years old. I ain't going to see that 10,000 till I'm 41. But when I'm 41, because I will get 41, God willing. when I'm 41, I could borrow against it.
And it's safe to say that you telling the truth because I remember I had made like 300,000 in like 90 days, right? And I had spent that 300,000 in like 30 days. And I was like, yo, but I did that more than once. So and you can trust these phone calls I done called you about, bro. I need to get some real estate. Cause it's like if I would have had that real estate then, that money wouldn't have went nowhere. It
would have got triple, double.
So when I'm spending thousands of dollars a day and spending money fast, and then I'm basically not having nothing to show for the money. So it's like I'm not building no wealth. I'm not doing nothing. So the lifestyle we come from, we need to be taught what to do with our money and our finances for real. And that's what I had. That's what I had to get disciplined in. Because even though I knew, I still lacked the discipline to do it. Because I never had that type of money. So anybody that tell you that they never fuck the money up is a lie. You never had that type of money and you get it, you gonna spend it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when are you gonna get to the point where as if you want to take that money and then do something with it to benefit your future and your family's future, generational wealth. And that's the point. That's the point that we came to in life. And I didn't come to that point by myself. I came to that point. This man standing right here because he been a walking example of that for real. So that's how I came to that point in myself.
Man, the good thing is like
some money up.
There are some. I mean, I guess the good thing about it is you got some people that fuck some money up and then they be done. They out the game forever.
Right, man. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like you got, we all know.
I'm like a magnet with that.
You know what I'm saying? You know people that they get some money and that be it. Like they got it.
That's a secret though, bro. That's the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Because they fuck the money up and they go to a dark state. You know what I mean? And they mind for real.
Or they'll spend money on the wrong stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So when they fuck that money up, they go to a dark state in their mind, and they can't come out of that.
They never get back.
But you got some people that fuck the money up, and they still got that positive mindset that they gonna make it back or they gonna get it back, and they still grind to get it.
You gotta.
They don't go in that depressive state. You go in that depressive state, you done.
Yeah, you might be in a jail, or you might be dead, or you might be on coke,
turn into an
heroin.
Yeah, because they get depressing. You get depressing when you don't got no money, bro. You get depressing.
Yeah. Nobody want to be around nobody don't got no bread.
No.
It's a real dark place when it comes to that. Damn, it's a great conversation. So all right, so we already talked about part 1 in regards to your fixer upper stage. We talked about part 2, your renovation stage. Mentors. When you was in there, did you have mentors when you was incarcerated?
I had a couple mentors. I had a dude named Darnell. Shout out to Darnell, man. Darnell taught me a lot. I'm talking about biology, cybernetics, robots. I'm talking about genetics. I'm talking about what you supposed to pick in your body, like as far as your mind, different things. See, he opened my mind. See, people can't think outside the box because we've been enclosed by society and the government. They've been controlling us through these things like, you know what I mean, I don't want to say religion, but whatever you believe in, because your belief system can surpass you for going to your full potential, because you don't feel like you can do certain things. You don't feel like it's right to own certain things, to get a certain amount of money and do certain things because what you believe in, and that's something that the government done had people in bondage of. We in bondage, bro. It's called mental bondage. So you gotta take the mental chains off first before you can even reach a certain level of elevation, bro.
Dang.
So what I had to do is I had to reevaluate myself, and I tell everybody all the time for real. Like when you go to prison, that's the most time to yourself to think. You don't have that type of time to think on the street because you're too busy. So prison could be a college, bro. It could be turned into something positive for real. That's what we did for real. Turn into something positive for real. So
yeah, because we had the time.
We had the time to think.
That one thing, like I was talking to somebody last week about it. I actually counted every minute when I was incarcerated, probably like 50 times, at least 50 times. It's 1,440 minutes in a day. So there's times where I was in there and I was up the whole 24 hours just so I could appreciate how much a day meant from a minute perspective. Like really just looking at my watch from the time that it turned 12 to the time it turned 12 for the second time for the entire day. And it made me appreciate the day. I remember being in there. I did 1,800 plus days in prison. I just remember like just knowing, just seeing the sun go from east to west and just really just try to understand how much we can get done in a day. I read over 1,000 books when I was incarcerated in the time that I was in. You mentioned Robert Kiyosaki. I mentioned on one of my previous episodes, um, my favorite book was The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire by Deepak Chopra, and how it talked about the power of coincidences. How there's really not nothing in life that's a coincidence. There's no coincidence that you're here today. There's no coincidence that at this particular time I came
true.
to town. You came at a certain time. My VI was already here. Shout outs to you, man. You've been great. You know what I'm saying? Just everything in life just kind of coincides and happens. The time it happens, how it happens. So it's just dope to know, like when you really start understanding time and really start understanding money, because we talk about the importance of understanding money, and that's very important. But there's also that other measurement from event A to event B with understanding time. So when you understand the timing, and you can take the understanding or the academia of time with the academia of money, you can combine the two. You can leverage it. You could be on a whole nother level. Like Kirk was saying, I sold a little over 500 houses in my career. The only way I was able to have 500
Top
real estate
realtor.
transactions is because I would be able to understand time. I could be in Georgia at basic training. I sold houses when I was in the Air Force, basic training. I'm doing push-ups, sit-ups, running, and I'm like, how am I selling houses? Because I had my system set up where if somebody was like, man, Alan, I'm trying to buy a house, they would reach out to my administration. My administration would then set up to give it to a showing agent. That showing agent would be the person that showed the house on my behalf. They would do the home inspection on my behalf. That loan officer would already qualify a client on my behalf, and I already worked this deal out months before I even went in basic training. So they would call me on my behalf. They'll get the phone number and reach out to my particular person. My person would then show the house in that particular zip code, that particular area. And I'm giving a game right now. So if you're trying to do the same thing, this free game right here, it's gonna cost you nothing.
Yeah,
So they would show that particular house in that desired area. They would then, from there, work the entire deal on my behalf. They would get their commission, and I would just ask for 20 or 25%, maybe 30, depending on who you are, between 20 and 30% on the commission. So they would close the house. They would be the person that you would see on social media, on Facebook, however they market it. You would see that person to close. They would use that title company, that loan officer, and that deal would close. And on paper, if you look at paper, if anybody want to Google my numbers, you won't see 500 real estate transactions. You're going to see them under a whole bunch of other people. So I did it like that because I don't need all the fame. I don't need all the attention. So you're going to, I wanted the person that I gave that business to come up so that they can be in a position to. I got title companies that call me all the time and be like, man, Alan, I ain't see you in a while. I said, yeah, you ain't see me in a while, but I get the emails. I'm BCC'd in them. I see them. It's just that you don't see them. But I'm the one that closed the deal. Best believe.
You the one that got that money.
You know what I'm saying? I got my portion that kept it moving. It's just that I didn't care about being the front runner no more. So I think anything in life, the higher up you go when it comes to that business administration side of things, it don't matter. When you go to Chick-fil-A and that person who's your cashier or that person that bring your food to you, like, man, they brought my food, they gave me great service. You don't see the owner. You don't see none of that. They somewhere in a whole nother state playing golf somewhere. So you gotta understand when you get to a certain level in real estate, you're not gonna see me. You're not gonna see me no more. You're not gonna see me worrying about me. Hey, I just sold this house. I did that for my first 5 years of my career. Go back to my old page. Go back to those old photos, old videos. I did that. I did that a million times. So I'm at a point now where you're not gonna see if a deal came from me or not. You're only gonna see the realtor, the loan officer, or the title agent that I want you to see. That's the difference when you get to a certain level. I don't care about the fame. I don't gotta let you know I sold a house or not. Just know I'm chilling somewhere. I'm watering my plants in the Air Force, and when I get off work, I see the emails come. Okay, that's another check.
You got that wire though.
Okay, y'all, that's another check. I'm somewhere putting plant food. I'm going to Home Depot somewhere getting more plant food for my plants. I'm not worrying about that.
And that's what and that's another aspect of time, because time is valuable. Because however you spend your time, basically, however you spend your time is you taking time off your life, your existence, your very existence, your energy. Time is energy.
Yep.
So however you spend your time, just whoever you give your time to, whoever you spend your time, whatever you do, taking off years of your life, your energy.
Yep.
So it's important what you do and how you utilize it. So what you
1000%.
and that's good that you said that.
Leverage.
People don't understand that, bro.
Right, because a lot of people don't see me. I don't really be out there like that in the industry no more. But I am. I am about to come back. Like I had
But
enough.
that allowed you to have time to join the Air Force and get your record clean and get your gun license,
get my bachelor's degree, get my security clearance.
Yeah, get your security clearance, become a lawyer. You know what I mean? Get your mortgage license, get your title license, your insurance license. That gave you the time to do all them other things because you found a system and develop it in order to sell houses without even being there, bro. It's brilliant.
Absolutely.
And that's how people make millions of dollars, by doing it. Yep. Or billions, you know what I mean? Because they develop systems that make money when they're not even there.
And it's crazy. So you mentioned the lawyer part. So I actually did apply to go to law school. And I probably will get accepted in law school. But I kind of mentioned it to Kurt, but I mentioned it to the world now. Like I actually did switch my degree when my grandmother passed away. She was an accounting major. She ran accountants for UMBC. But I actually just switched my major to go into business administration and finance. And you actually one of the people that gave my inspiration to do that. Because I always taught business.
Bro,
I always taught
be
finance.
Be a business lawyer, bro. Finance. You get
right.
money. You know what I
So
mean?
when I thought about the business lawyer aspect of things, I'm like, damn, let me just go to school to get my degree in legal studies. So I got that part. I'll get that next month. But then I actually just applied to get my master's with an MBA with a concentration in finance. So I don't know if I already told you that, but I start June 11th. So I'm getting my master's degree. I start June 11th, and next year I have my MBA in finance next year. So and I ain't stopping there. I actually was doing some research on top of that. It's called a DBA.
Yo, how you go from prison, bro, to the military though? That's crazy, bro.
Great question.
But didn't they parole you from prison to the college too at one time?
They did. So in regards to me going from prison to the military, it was just understanding the law, like understanding that was time. So when you get your mortgage license, when you're home for 7 years, whether you got a felony or not, as long as it's not felony related that's geared to the bank, you can still get your mortgage license. Okay. And a lot of people don't know that. It's actually easier to get your mortgage license than it is your real estate license. Right. So depending on what your charges are. Right. So if you fuck up early in life at 18, 19, 20, you got to look at your charges and be like, okay, boom. If you did a bank check fraud or some shit like that, you'll never get your mortgage license. So don't even try to get that. But you can get your real estate license. Right. So play the real estate game. So because I never had that type of charge, it was just a violent charge. I got people that's loan officers who caught murder charges because they don't care about that. It's the bank. Right, the bank don't care if you're a murderer. Right. They care if you steal money. If you steal money. That just goes to show you, like, the value of a human being. If you play with that money, they're going to look at you like you a stain. You blackball. Right. If you killed somebody or you stabbed somebody, you can still be a loan officer. Because I know loan officers as murderers. Yeah. As long as you let 7 years go by, you can actually be a murderer and be a loan officer. That's different. But if you steal money, you'll never work for the bank. You'll never be a loan officer. So what does that tell you? They really care about money more than a human life.
That's crazy.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So like me learning that was just like next level. Part 3 though, make sure I don't forget because the conversation is great. And this, I know we said 45 minutes, man. We're gonna go to an hour, man. We have 43. Cool. All right, everything good. All right, cool. Move the mic a little bit closer. Like right here. All right, cool. All right, so part three of this is the renovation period of you, man. I'm enjoying this whole conversation. It's dope. So where Kirk is now in his life after the prison,
chilling right now, man.
After all of that, like where are you at now, and what advice do you got? That's important.
I'm chilling right now. You see these veneers? I'm chilling. You know what I mean?
What advice you got? What advice you got for that 18-year-old who been through what you've been through, or 20, 21-year-old? What advice you got for them on where you at now to help them out?
The advice I got now is listen, bro. That's the only advice I got. That's enough. Listen to your mother, your father, to the old man on the corner, to the nigga that just came home from jail that's telling you to stay out the streets, your sister, your older brother. Listen, bro. Because I never listened. I was hard headed. I never listened to nobody, bro. And that was the reason why I had to go through some of the traumas I went through. Because if I would have listened and went to school, listen and just shut up in the classroom, stop trying to be a class clown, trying to be popular. If I'd have listened, didn't steal a car, listen, didn't sell drugs, got off the corner and listen, I would have never went to prison, bro. So if I'd have listened, I would have never experienced things I did. So my advice is to listen, bro. Everybody you can listen to, it don't matter if somebody rich or poor, bro. Everybody got a Jew that you can learn from. Everybody been through a different experience. So if you can take what everybody been through that and then you can analyze that situation so you won't go through that. That's a cheat code. Cause I ain't gonna go through what Kirk went through, what Alan went through if I just listen. Yeah. But if I don't listen, I'm gonna experience the same thing. Nothing changes.
Might be worse. It might be worse. Might be worse.
Changes.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. Like death or jail. Nothing. It's the same cycle. So if you listen, you got an advantage already. You just gotta listen, bro. They gotta listen, bro.
They gotta know who to listen to too.
But then on top of that, they gotta be shown the examples. Like me and you, we live an example. Living proof. We come from the hood, projects, all that, bro. We come from nothing. So they gotta see these examples. You can't just tell them to listen and not show them nothing. So it'd be better coming from somebody like me and you than a nigga on the corner with them. Nigga, you out here every day with me. I ain't listen to you, nigga. Fuck out of here. But if a nigga pull up like me in a Bentley, you feel what I'm saying, with the diamond, and they know that I'm from these trenches. They gonna listen to me. They listen to me now, bro. They listen to you. So the advice we got is to tell them to listen, but we also still gotta be that example for them to listen to, bro. You know what I mean? So, like, because we be watched all the time, bro. You feel what I'm saying? We be criticized, too, because when you make it out of a place, bro, everybody in that place, it got a little bit of envy for you. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, you get a new pair of Jordans and nobody's got it. You only nigga that got the scooter. You know what I mean? Christmas time. It's just like, they just, it's just in them to be that way. But you gotta let them know that you know what I mean? You still the same individual, bro. You just took a path in life because you was tired of something that was going on, so you wanted better.
You gotta get disgusted.
Yeah, you wanted better. When I came home, bro, after almost 10 years in prison, I seen people living in the same houses in the same hood that they was when I went to prison, bro. That's when I say, you know what? I ain't never coming back to this hood, bro. I'm not gonna be like that. Not talking down about people, but like I'm not gonna be in the same condition I'm in 10 years from now. I want it better. Yeah, so I started making my life better, bro. And my first year home from prison, I made $200,000. First year home, I blew it though, but I made it.
It was a start.
It was a start, bro.
You was able to show that you could do it.
Yeah, that was a start. You know what I mean? So it's like money. It's easy to make money, bro. It's harder to maintain it. It's harder to maintain money when you make it. And everybody with money had the same type of problems, for real, even when it comes to taxes and stuff like that. So that's why people always trying to hide money. You know what I mean? So it's hard to maintain money. It's easy to make it, for real. So when you never had no money, you want money so bad. Then when you get it, you get more problems. You got more problems if you don't know how to maintain it. That's why I say you got to read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Because that's going to tell you how to maintain the money. And then Wealth of Nations is going to tell you what the money really is. Because money ain't nothing but contract. Promissory notes is paper. IOU, you can create money on paper. You can raise money on paper, bro. It's not just the actual, because a promissory note is written on a dollar bill. And a contract, which is a real estate note, or a real estate contract, is a promissory note. Right or wrong? Right. A mortgage note is a promise. A car note is a promissory note. That's all money, bro. So that's why I said read the book Wealth of Nations to understand what money really is, for real. And that's how you know how to make money. Because you can create money. That's why I gave them 3 books. And get my man book too, for real. Tell him about your book, bro.
Which one? I got 5. I'm
Tell about all 5
of them. A little bit. All right, so my first book, Prison of Paradise, I wrote that when I was incarcerated. The first book is talking about how prison is a mentality. It's not a location. I think that's really important to know, because when you go to prison, you look at prison. When people think of prison, they think of these barbed wires, they think of CEOs, they think of all of this. But you got individuals that, we'll use females for example, they in relationships where they're being abused. That's prison. Exactly. You're thinking about individuals who need to lose weight and they're caught up in this lifestyle that they need to eat. They're being lazy. That's their prison. So prison is a mentality. So let's stop looking at prison like it's this location with barbed wires and these COs, and take that out of the equation and look at prison like it's a mentality. We got to break the mentality. So my book uses my personal life of me being in prison and how I broke that mold to be able to get past that, uh, and help other individuals from my personal story and giving you universal concepts on how you can get out of the mindset of a prison mindset to a mindset of paradise. So paradise isn't necessarily just going on the beach or going on the island or getting out of town. Paradise is just understanding what freedom looks like. Paradise is getting out of those constraints and being able to be like, you know what? I'm my own free thinker. I can help people. I can serve. I can do whatever I want to do in life. So my book just uses my examples of being in prison to transition that mindset over to one that's of paradise, of one that's freedom. So that's book number one. Number two, my second book is called Stay Out of the Bullshit. At an early age, my favorite poet is Langston Hughes. My first poem got published at 12 years old on a nationwide level. Um, Midnight Passion was the name of the poem. When I was in private school, it was a poem. One of the few African Americans in the nation that poem got published at that age. So I just talk about in that book. It's an all poetry book and it's all motivational. It's exclusively just the ebook. All five of my books on Amazon. So if you may not remember the name of the books that I mentioned, all you got to do is remember my name on Instagram. My name is Alan Upshur. You can go on Amazon right now. Type in Alan Upshur. Just that on Google and on Amazon, but on Amazon specifically, you'll see all five of my books. That's my second book. My third book is called The 7 Steps to Dominate Real Estate, the real estate industry. So in that particular book, it talks about getting in real estate your first year. What do you do? How do you be successful? How do you network? What do you have to do? That's also another exclusive ebook that you can look. You get in the industry. A lot of times, if you contact me and DM me, I send that book for free, giving you the game of what you need to do to be able to get in the real estate industry with a new license and be able to get business right away. Because a lot of times that I'm noticing, no shade, but a lot of real estate agents that get in the industry now, they want to do all these photo shoots. They want to say, hey, look at me. Hey, I look good. I'm in front of this house. Man, fuck that. Where the money at? Let's get this fucking money. I'm trying to get the money. You read my book. It's free. It don't cost you nothing. And I'm giving you 7 steps on what you need to do to get the money. I don't care about your photo shoot. I don't care about your videography. I don't care about what you're wearing. You're Gucci. You're in front of this car. You're in front of that house. What's your sales look like? Right. Because 71% of all realtors in the National Association of Realtors ain't sell a house last year. So we don't give a fuck about what you wore because you ain't fucking sell a fucking house.
That's more than half.
Let's talk about that. My book is going to show you what you need to do when you get your real estate license, where to network at. What's your target audience? What's your ideal audience? Yeah, you got your real estate license. Yeah, you look good. Yeah, you're in front of this house. But who your audience is? Who you targeting? You just out here just showing houses to 100 people. They don't give a fuck about you. Are you a chess player? Let's target chess players. Are you an athlete? Let's target athletes. So you got to find an ideal target audience when you're in the real estate industry. So that way, when you go to networking events, you're not just going blindsided. You're going to something that makes sense. For me, when I got in the real estate industry, I know that I was trying to actually be in the biology field before I got incarcerated. So what I did was I started going to nursing events because at one time I was an exercise science major. So when I was at nursing events and I talked to them, I could talk about science. I could talk about what I wanted to do, and they started being able to relate to me. So when you get your real estate license, you got to be in the audience of people that can relate to you, not just be on Instagram like, hey, look at me, I'm a realtor. Fuck that. You got to target that shit even more. So that's what my book talked about with that. Then my last 3 books, How to Sell Real Estate All Throughout the United States. I'm showing you how to leverage yourself. My biggest deal in real estate was 1.4 million in Los Angeles, California. You want to know why that was so great? I never met the buyer to this day. I never met him. They bought a condo for 1.4 million. I never seen it. Never went inside. Was never there. The loan offers that I use, I referred that. Never met the loan officer. I never met the buyer agent. I never met the listing agent. I never even went to Cali when the deal closed, but I made $35,000.
Dang.
I was never there.
That's different.
So I'm showing you how you can make money and not even be in the same state and not even meet the people that help you do that. So that's what that book is about. And then my next book that I wrote is How to Break into the Real Estate Industry with a Criminal Record.
Hold on, bro. You gotta explain that to them again, bro. They ain't hear that, bro.
Which part?
Explain that whole part again, bro. Explain how you never met the buyer, never met the seller, and how you
So
made
so my
$35.
third book is How to How to Sell Real Estate Throughout the United States. I was referred by somebody that knew who I was. They actually was in Houston, Texas, but they wanted to buy their house in Los Angeles. So when they wanted to buy the house in Los Angeles, I had to walk them through it. So they was like, Alan, I'm trying to buy a house in Los Angeles. Can you help me? I said, yes, I can. Zip code. I don't want to give all the game because you got to buy the book. But I had to get the zip code. So when I got the zip code, I found a realtor that was the best and vetted the hell out of them based off of personality. So I had to find a personality match because she was kind of high strung personality wise. So I had to find a realtor who can handle
I like
high strung.
You giving us the grind now.
I'm giving you the grind.
Yeah, I like
Mind you, I'm in Maryland.
Right.
So I'm giving you the high strung personality. I'm matching personalities. That's the last
So
tip
basically,
you're
just
gonna
try to
get
put it in layman terms. You went to go find the best plug out there for real.
to match that particular client.
Right, like a nigga on the street can find the best product, the best plug. That's what you did.
There you go.
I see. All right, get it.
So when she went to go show the house, I already had somebody that was going, got you, 5 minutes left. Got you. Be mindful of that. So when I showed that particular, when they showed those particular houses and the deal got done, everybody was happy. Because I took that extra time, even though I never met anybody, I was personality matching. Personalities match, boom, good. You found the house that you want, boom, good. She happy, boom, cloak, good. I use that lender. Personality matches too. Personality match all the way around the board. Not just the realtor, the loan officer, the title company. We all a team. So everybody personality got matched. So when they match, I'm just the manager at this point. But that manager got me $35,000 in my bank account.
Putting pieces together.
Putting pieces together.
Made $35,000.
So that book is talking about how to
Niggas
be
don't
able
make
to,
that on the streets.
yeah. So it's just
It's hard
being able to.
You made that using
I did
your
that.
mind.
I was home.
Using your mind, basically.
I was home.
In Baltimore, using your
Chilling.
mind,
I was
made
chilling.
$35,000, a whole nother state, never meeting nobody,
On
just
a
by
whole
being on
other
the phone,
side.
putting the plan together for real, doing nothing.
So that's what that book talk about. That book
That sound like a good
That's
book.
$20.
That sound like a good book.
That book $20.
That sound like a good book.
So that's book 3. Then I just talk about how to break into the real estate industry with a criminal record. I got somebody. He came home from. We talk about attempted murder. He had a murder charge. My man. You know what I'm saying? I can't put his name out there because he might not want his name out there.
But then you go in front of the board too. You had to go in front of the board, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I had to explain my case. It's no different than going in front of a board with an attempted murder case.
Right.
So I'm like, damn, if I can go in front of the board with an attempted murder case, I definitely can go in front of the board for the real estate commission. But what I did in that book, I also talk about it. When you first come home from incarceration and you're trying to get into the real estate industry, you cannot get your license right away. You got to show proof. You got to do community service, get all paperwork. Everything is documented. You might even have to take 18 to 2 years worth of time to just be like, hey, I did this community service.
Did you know that then, though, or you learned that when you tried to get the license?
So what I did was I knew that if I just straight try to get my real estate license off the rip, it's going to be questions. Because at the end of the day, being in jail, being in prison, what everybody care about? Proof.
So that go back to the having patience and appreciation, like you said with the money, same concept.
Same concept. So when they was like, because I knew the one question that you're going to always get asked, why should you get your real estate license? Mm-hmm. So I had to have evidence. So I made sure I had all the evidence. I gave them like 50 pages worth of reasons why you should give me my real estate license. They gave it to me. The guy that was trying, he came and was like, Alan, I'll never forget. The guy called me, he was like, man, I came home from murder. I'm trying to get my real estate license. I'm like, woo, that's rough. I ain't never dealt with this. But I gave him the advice. He took my advice.
In fact, I think I referred him to you, didn't I? Was that Brother James? Yeah, I did.
He's closing deals now.
Yeah, he closing deals now.
Closing deals now.
Yeah, that's my man. You feel me?
Yeah.
I met him in prison.
Damn.
I met him in prison, bro. And we've been locked in since then. I met him in prison.
That's
bro.
my guy. We talk all the time.
He was reading the real estate books on the 10, bro. On the 10, bro. He like, I'm gonna get my license, and I'm right there with him like, hey, bro, go ahead and do it, and let him know. Surely, I made the connection to you to him for him to get the license. But he was studying in prison, bro.
Now he closing deals.
That's crazy.
I know we got like less than a minute left. Man, shit. If you want more information, you got our information. We'll talk about the last book and number books.
Private Banker 666 on Instagram for real. The one with the blue check, that's my real page.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that all that gets shown for sure. We less than 30 seconds left. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I'm grateful for everybody that came, supported, everybody that listens. We just trying to serve. We just trying to get a game.
For free.
We thank y'all all for coming. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for subscribing. Click the link below or however it looks on technology. I don't know. I'm still old school with all this, but Kirk, thanks for coming. Yeah.
Leave that technology, your Instagram part.
You got it. ARV episode 5. We out.